This is the fourth of 4 videos covering material in the 2016 Conference Agenda Report, CAR for short. This video covers the regional motions numbered 9 through 14. Please keep in mind these videos only cover the main points of the CAR. We encourage all members to read the CAR itself for more information, including the full World Board responses, as well as the financial impact and policy affected for each motion. Please visit www.na.org/conference for the complete 2016 CAR and the other videos. We welcome your feedback at worldboard@na.org. Motion 9. To direct the World Board to post a PDF version of all approved English and translated basic texts on na.org for free download. Intent: to provide no-cost access to our main piece of recovery literature. Maker: Western Russia region. Rationale by region. We consider that free of charge distribution of Fellowship's central piece of recovery literature is inherently spiritual and, in itself, is embodiment of our primary purpose, to carry the message about miracles of recovery to a still suffering addict. We assume that volumes of sale of printed basic texts will drop for about 20% for the first 5 years. Later on, it will probably be continuing to go down as there is a strong global tendency to use electronic devices for reading. We also believe that eventually this will enlarge the percent of direct Seventh Tradition in NA World Services income. World Board response. The basic text was posted in PDF format on na.org from 2008 until 2011. At World Service Conference 2012, it was reported that the basic text had been downloaded 3,850,000 times and widely distributed by conventions and other entities. In the past, people downloaded our texts not just to read, but to sell, to turn into apps, and to mass distribute by email. Copyright law requires the active protection of intellectual property, and we believe if we were to post the basic text online, we would run the risk of losing our copyright and no longer be able to protect the integrity of our literature. NA World Services funds the World Service Conference and its projects, as well as public relations and fellowship development efforts on behalf of NA worldwide through the sale of literature. For the past fiscal year, the cost of the literature we gave away and/or heavily subsidized was $539,519. The reduction in income included in the rationale from the region would amount to over $2 million annually. This far exceeds the cost of free literature, the World Service Conference, its projects, and the World Board. A reduction of this magnitude would require nothing less than rethinking the focus of NA World Services. Motion 10. To hold every other World Service Conference outside of the United States, and to begin this rotation with World Service Conference 2020 to be held in Moscow, Russia. Intent: to launch rotation of the location of the World Service Conference in order to provide local fellowships around the world new opportunities for growth and development. Maker: Western Russia region. Rationale by region. Our fellowship experience shows that large service events have a great beneficial effect to the hosting regions and areas. They inspire both receiving party and guest participants, giving a great impact for both. For example, the next 2016 Russian Zonal Forum meeting will take place at the very eastern point of Russia, in the city of Vladivostok, which is 9,000 kilometers or 5,589 miles away from Moscow. In spite of the distance, we are sure that it will help us to get closer and to grow as a fellowship. World Board response. We agree that exposure to service and recovery events are beneficial to most NA communities. However, it would take a great deal of human and financial resources to make this happen, and the benefit would be to one NA community. Holding the World Service Conference outside the United States would add hundreds of thousands of dollars in expense and drastically increase the administrative time and support needed to plan the conference. After holding the World Service Conference outside of the Los Angeles area 3 times in the 90s, policy was adopted that the event is held within 75 miles of the World Service office. Holding the conference close to the office makes it possible for us to utilize office equipment such as task chairs and computers, reducing the cost of rental equipment, and it makes the use of hourly staff for tasks much easier. A huge infrastructure is needed for the World Service Conference, and having the conference in a consistent place makes the event significantly easier to plan and smoother to execute. We certainly understand the need and the desire for exposure to the broader world of NA service. We would just like to develop some ways to meet this need that did not affect the cost and functioning of the conference. Motion 11. To allow a delegate from any zonal forum who requests it to be seated at the World Service Conference as a non-voting participant. The expense of attendance will be the responsibility of the zonal forum and not the World Service Conference. Intent. To involve zones at the World Service Conference. Maker. Western Russia region. Rationale by region. We think that is an essential step forward towards inevitable integration of zones into the actual service structure due to their increasing role. World Board response. While we have huge concerns about the future and how to address the size of the conference moving forward, this seems to be a welcome step in a new direction. We recommend trying this once to see how it goes for World Service Conference 2018. If this were passed as a motion, it would become standing policy in a guide to world services in NA. We think a safer approach would be to try it first and see if participants feel the change is beneficial and something that they would like to see on an ongoing basis. The spirit of the motion seems to be in concert with the direction the conference discussed going in at World Service Conference 2014. Adding to our numbers can't be a helpful long-term solution to our challenges as a conference because it will not address our sustainability and effectiveness issues. However, if we continue to discuss zonal seating, it seems logical to have representatives from zones at the conference taking part in that discussion. We understand that this motion comes from a zone with 1 seated region and 4 unseated regions, and that this is an alternative to all of their regions requesting seating. If the conference wants to adopt this motion or try this idea, we would offer 2 changes. First, a one-time trial for WSC 2018, and second, a clear, shared understanding of what zone means for the sake of recognizing a delegate from each zone. This could mean one person selected by each of the 15 zones that exist today. Motion 12. That Narcotics Anonymous World Services add the following "What is NA Service?" card as part of the group readings offered by the World Service Office. What is NA Service? This is a very important integrant of our recovery. This is how our gratitude speaks. Yet, this is a way to carry the message of recovery to those addicts who still suffer. We usually begin being of service in NA, making coffee, tea, or cleaning our rooms after meetings. As we get some experience serving at the group level, many of us try ourselves out at different points of service structure, for instance, area or region. Being of service in NA is for any of us. True service can be expressed by simple words quoted from the basic text. True service is doing the right things for the right reasons. Being of service at a group level helps to strengthen the very foundation of our recovery, because it could probably be the first time when we do something for others without seeking to profit, expecting nothing in return. Serving at a group is another motive that helps us to attend meetings regularly, and our experience tells us that those who keep coming back regularly stay clean. Being of service in NA is our gratitude to the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous for a new clean life. Many of us always wanted to be a part of something. Service in NA indeed gives us a chance to become a part of a fellowship that saves our lives and helps addicts all over the world to stay clean and follow the way of recovery. Intent: to provide NA groups with an approved piece of literature to use as a tool to foster a culture of getting involved into service. Maker: Western Russia region. Rationale by region. Service is a foundation stone of recovery. This is simply why we think it is important to take the point further at the very beginning of a meeting. World Board Response. All of the reading cards produced by NA World Services come directly from fellowship-approved literature. We are not necessarily opposed to adding readings, but if the conference were to elect to do so, we believe the material should undergo review, input, and ultimately, fellowship approval. We believe that is in the best interests of fellowship unity. The group booklet explains that groups should feel free to innovate, vary the format in whatever way seems to best suit the personality of your group and the needs of addicts in your community. Ideas such as those expressed in the proposed reading card could be included in any group's format without the creation of a new card. Motion 13. Each World Board member votes only in elections and may make motions in all sessions. The World Board has one collective vote made by the chairperson of the World Board in new business sessions. Intent: this motion would change World Board voting in new business from up to 18 individual votes to one collective vote. Makers: South Florida, Michigan, and Mid-Atlantic regions. Rationale by regions. Our rationale for this motion is that this will make new business outcomes more dependent on regional perspective and less reflective of the board's perspective. This motion is no more than what was originally recommended by the resolution group when it discussed the creation of the World Board and other structural resolutions in 1996. See page 56 of the October 1995 Resolution Group Report to the World Service Conference. If adopted, this motion would negate the possibility of what took place at the 2014 WSC, when a motion to seat 3 regions from Brazil had 80 out of 106 regional delegates voting in favor, but failed for a lack of 2/3 only because the World Board had a block vote of 18 who voted against the motion. The seventh concept states that all members of a service body bear substantial responsibility for that body's decisions and should be allowed to fully participate in its decision-making processes. We have alternate delegates who are part of the body, yet are not allowed to fully participate in its decision-making processes if full participation is intended to mean the right to vote. Current conference guidelines do not allow World Board members to vote in old business. Therefore, we feel the seventh concept should not be used as an argument against limiting the World Board to one collective vote in new business. Retaining a single vote for the World Board will keep intact the leadership that the Board and the Fellowship desire, while balancing out the weight and representation each vote at the WSC carries. World Board response. As the rationale for the motion states, Board members bring a unique perspective to matters affecting NA as a whole. We do not believe it serves the conference or the Fellowship to limit their participation. Being on the board means continual, intense focus on the needs of NA worldwide. Board members spend hundreds or even thousands of hours during a conference cycle overseeing projects, traveling to service bodies around the world, and talking to delegates and other members about their concerns and issues. Board members come from a place of global consciousness and strategic thinking, but those experiences affect each of them differently. They do not, as a matter of regular practice, vote in a block, and did not do so during the vote referenced in the rationale. Given the lack of a roll call vote on the motion in question, there is no record of how each participant voted. Board members do not vote at all during old business, which is when items in the conference agenda report are decided. The board does vote, however, in new business and election sessions at the World Service Conference. Allowing each participant, delegates and board members alike, an equal part in decision-making during these sessions is in line with our seventh concept. World Board members are elected by the conference and should fully participate in discussing and voting on new ideas during the conference week. Motion 14, that the World Board or members of the World Board no longer make motions or proposals for decision at the WSC. The World Board may still forward ideas or work that regional delegates may present as a motion or proposal to the WSC for a decision. Intent: to remove the ability of the World Board and World Board members to make motions or proposals in old business or new business at the WSC. Maker: Mid-Atlantic region. Rationale by region: to remove the governing ability of the World Board, which is in direct conflict with Concept 12. Aside from the budget, the duties and responsibilities listed in a Guide to World Service do not require the World Board to make motions, As a result of World Board motions in the CAT in 2008 concerning the service system proposal, the Fellowship has wasted many hours and much money on a service system that the Fellowship did not ask for or want as their service structure. All this time and money has resulted in very few areas and regions actually using the proposed service system. The budget, new literature, project plans, etc., can be prepared by the World Board, as is their responsibility, and placed in the CAR or CAT as their work. Any regional delegate can motion to pass these items on the floor of the World Service Conference. Members wishing to make motions, present proposals, or anything else as such have a procedure we must follow from home group through areas and regions. To allow the World Board to present actionable items without following protocol allows the service structure we have created to be sidestepped. The Board will still have the ability to fully participate in all aspects of the World Service Conference as any other member of the Fellowship. World Board response. If this motion were to pass, we have no idea how the Board would even function or how we would offer work to the Fellowship. Making motions is not governing. Making a motion or proposal is framing a question for the Fellowship and Conference to decide. We've been asked in the past to write motions or proposals for material we present in the CAT in order to make it easier for delegates to understand the material and discuss it with their regions. We do not tell the World Service Conference what to do. We execute the decisions the World Service Conference makes, and we trust the process. We believe the conference will make decisions that benefit NA as a whole. Presenting a draft of a Traditions Workbook in this CAR is, in fact, making a proposal for decision at the World Service Conference. So is framing a budget or project plans for conference decision, or most of what we offer. Regardless of who is listed as the presenter, creating the work and forwarding it to the Fellowship is presenting a proposal for decision. To make a motion about the work is simply clearly framing the issue to be decided by group conscience. We hope this video has helped in your discussion of this material. Please note that there is another video that focuses on the other 6 regional motions, as well as 2 other videos that summarize the other contents of the CAR. You can download a copy of the conference agenda report online at www.na.org/conference. or order a hard copy from NA World Services. If you have any questions, please reach out and let us know. worldboard@na.org.